Happy Sunday morning to you. I have been slacking on the videos here this weekend. Hadn't gotten one done. Did a major organizational project, I guess organization project yesterday. So I figured what I'd do this morning, come out in my happy place. The 1M is dirty. I drove it a bunch this week, and it's almost done. I got to figure out the springs this week, and then the thing's done. But I figured I'd do a wash and chat, kind of update you on everything that's going on. You can always tell when I drove the car when there's brake dust. Lots of brake dust. Oh man, so yeah, a lot of product the last couple of weeks. A lot going on with that. Can you close the doors, please? Got some brake buster here in my foam cannon. I talked about this a lot with regular soap, in that if you leave soap in the foam cannon for a period of time, the soap, I guess the surfactants, or it's probably the detergents react with any hardness in the water, and then it becomes essentially ineffective from a foaming perspective. But I haven't noticed that same effect from wheel cleaner, so that's why I generally follow this process where I just leave the wheel cleaner in there, I prepare it, and then it'll last me like a month as I kind of work through it. Dang, these HREs have huge, tons and tons of room for the brakes. But yeah, we launched Brake Buster this week, launched the interior cleaner, some of the glass cleaning stuff. I guess 2 weeks ago. Man, you guys are awesome. Just takes off like crazy. I got some angel wax stuff coming, the first round of some angel wax things. The interior scents should be here shortly. And then also Vision to use as our sort of more aggressive glass cleaner. I talked to Brian Guy from SwissVax. We're seeing if the logistics work for me to carry SwissVax leather cleaner, and then we can kind of finalize the project for the complete interior package. So the wheel cleaning package 2.0 is done and out. What am I doing here? Just do some tires. What else do we have going on? Man, a lot going on. I'm still working with Pressall. I think they're still working on their version 2.0. I ordered another set of bottles. We're gonna make a video here soon to get everybody to compile. We've had a couple of months now, so get everybody to release or put in the Google Docs their data so I can share it with them. And I went on a little bit of a rant on the podcast the other day about leaving Pressall alone as I'm working with them to figure out a solution, viable solution. So we're getting there. But who knows, maybe we never get all the way there. So another cool thing that I've got coming to the store here, we're building out this week, is a car capsule in general. Not just the one I have to showcase, but all of them. So what I'm gonna do over the course of the next several months is I'm gonna get a car capsule, one of each type. send it to HQ. Then I'm gonna unbox it and I'm going to you know, share the process of assembly and take photos and really build out a robust platform for car capsule with information and videos. And so I'm going to video each one. I'm going to assemble, photo, do the whole process, you know, build out the whole structure of what the, you know, car capsule product line looks like, and then how you'd use it and why you'd use it and all that stuff. I'm excited about that. So we're going to be working on that here this week. So I've been kind of behind on projects because of this car. You know, we're building this car and doing the whole giveaway thing, and it's put me behind on some of the other ideas that I've had, like finishing the pressure washer project. You know, I've got the Stanley stuff to test and compile that data. I just tested the AR 630. I'll talk about that in a minute. So then, oh, hides. We launched hides as well. I've got some cool stuff from McGuire's coming. So I'm bringing in, so I'll have the engine cleaning package here probably, if not this week, next week. So the engine cleaning package out, which I think you guys are gonna like. Really simple. It's gonna be D101 and D170 hyperdressing, but I'm gonna offer hyperdressing in many different variants that aren't available yet. Like a 32 ounce fully concentrated, a 32 ounce to Mormon spec, we'll call it, and a gallon. I'm also gonna offer a 32 ounce undiluted D101. I got M101 coming for more aggressive polishing, which we, you know, may or may not have to use on the M5. So yeah, we're gonna be working on all kinds of projects here this week of building out the product line. I've got Mike, the new employee, is working on getting the descriptions written in Prevo, so we're really kind of cleaning up the store. Getting everything up to standard. We'll have, we should have the MSS Plus live again. Again, we can't publish pricing, but we're able to now, we've gotten permission to have MSS Plus on the site. So you can at least, you know, read about it there. I'm going to be doing MSS Plus out here in the wash bay here this fall and winter, likely. All right, let's move to the next one. Let's knock out the exhaust here. So yeah, we really got some stuff moving along here. I feel like we've been behind forever. If you have ordered shirts for the giveaway, just, you know, bear with us. What I didn't want to do, it doesn't do me much good to lose $1 zillion on buying a bunch of shirts that I can't sell, because I really don't want to sell the orange stuff. I wanted it to be kind of limited to this event, and so I don't want to have like 50, 60, 80, 100, you know, extra shirts. So we're ordering them as we go, and dealing with t-shirt companies is so difficult. Never have anything in stock. They're always taking forever to print. They print it wrong. Yeah, it's just frustrating. So we do have quite a few coins left. The coins would ship immediately. You can buy 15 coins if you want, get 15 entries. So we're about, I'd say we're at break even now. So my dream of making a bunch of money, not gonna happen. So I certainly wasn't compensated for my time, but I guess it's better than just selling the car, because, you know, I probably would have lost money with all the modifications that I did. So I keep saying I'm not doing another raffle, but I probably will at some point. I just don't like being lumped in with that mix of of what a raffle says. Membership program's kicking butt. I think we probably have, I would guess we have 1,000 people now. Something close to that. We're getting there. So that's awesome. I'm pumped about that. And I really enjoy making the content, and I hope people enjoy watching it. I'd like to step up that as we get these products done and start to catch up on some of the projects that I've kind of put in place. So I'm hoping to step up the content there. I'm interviewing a guy tomorrow about being just a camera person to hold the camera for me. God, it's so hard to shoot video out here in the daytime. I should only come out here at night. It's so hard to get the exposure right, especially on the darn Sony. So I'm pumped about products because my whole goal, one of my goals from the beginning, to which we're getting close to, is to be able to offer the full Matt Mormon package, the whole deal, the full Obsessed Garage all the way package, which would be everything: pressure washer, buckets, all the different, car washing, wheel cleaning. So we have those, the people who discover videos for the first time, and then you're able to buy the whole thing, everything. It'll be like, I don't know, $9,000 or $10,000. It'll be more of a just organization of the entire process into one package, so that people could kind of, I know I love looking at that. Like for instance, right now I'm looking at park tools for mountain bikes. And I'm looking at the whole line. I'm like, what is everything? And then I either dream of buying the whole thing, or maybe even possibly just using that as my shopping cart list for my hybrid version of that full package, because I may not want a few things like a frame press or something like that. So I'm pumped, more pumped than anybody else, probably more pumped than I should be, about getting the entire line of detailing products, so that way then I can share with people the entire package. I've got a lot of work to do still on compressed air. I want to find and create some lower end solutions, some like tire fillers and pad blowout type compressors for those of us who don't have the room to do a full massive compressor, or desire to do a massive compressor. So I'll have that in the works. But I'm not, I've finally gotten to the point where I'm not I'm not freaking out about having to have it all today. Just kind of doing one step at a time and enjoying the process of documenting it, enjoying the process of creating and discovering, finding. I'll show you here. I'm going to check the tire pressures here in a minute after we're done with the wash. But I'll show you the tire filler that I'm gonna launch here soon. I've been really working on Air King fans to get them to allow me to sell their crap. It's fascinating how companies just won't. I'm telling you, most of them is a fight. I have to fight and beg. Please let me sell your stuff. Please let me, market your product. I think a lot of it has to do with companies just are afraid of their local distribution messing it up by having some guy online come in and making their current distribution angry. Because a lot of times, they don't realize that rising tide raises all ships. But yeah, I've got so much stuff I'm working on. Oh, I'm working on Ed. We're gonna do Ed Bullion's garage, I think. I'm getting close to getting everything lined up. But Ed is the VinWiki guy. He and I have kind of become friends. And he asked me, hey, do you want to get involved with my garage? And so I've been chasing down all the vendors to see if we can get everybody on board. Flooring, lighting, cabinets. And I'm gonna go up and we're gonna shoot a whole video series on building his garage at his house. He has like a oversized, like 8-car type garage, which we can make really cool. Put a pressure washer in it and everything that he would need to make it awesome. And then we would tell some stories about how I'm building it, why I chose certain things on the VinWiki channel, so that would help me. And then obviously it'd help him because we're getting him a sweet garage. But I'm working on that. That'll be cool. I think you guys will enjoy that. I'll enjoy it. Trying to convince Ed to actually, let's do it together. Let's do the manual labor. He says he's down. I'm not sure he knows what that means. So, you know, the VinWiki format wouldn't be very helpful in that, you know, I can't, you know, we're not going to shoot install videos and put them on the VinWiki channel because it's not consistent with the format of telling stories. I think it'd be cool. It'd certainly be fun. I didn't go to Car Week. I'm so glad because I'd be there right now, and I'd rather do this. So the more time goes on, the more I learn about what I actually really want to do. Yeah, see, some of these press-all bottles leak out this connection right here. I hate that. And I think it's not the connection, I think it's the tip, because the tip is too tight. There's nowhere for the product to go. I almost want to Teflon tape it. It depends on the product. Some products just kind of leak out the bottom there. And I know some of you get mad about that, but I knew we would have these problems. I knew it. I think the bottles are cool enough and close enough that they're worth the effort to try to get them right. Go listen to not this week's, but last week's podcast. And I know you'll hear me yelling about why I'm doing it the way I'm doing it. And it'll make a little more sense maybe. Going mountain biking today after I get this done. We actually have some really sweet, you look it up, it's called Santos Trail System here in Central Florida, and it's only 25 minutes from my house. So it's a win-win, and that it's close and it's good. A little bit more. I do about 50% of what I do with the Atom soap in here. This is a Griot's funnel. This is still deciding if Hyperwash is better than Atom's. It's so close. You certainly use a lot less of it. That's a positive thing. I'm just in shock of how many buckets we sell and how many bucket packages we sell. It's just incredible. So all that controversy in the beginning, I just knew I was on to something. I knew that other people would want this too. And when you really start to do the math and start to run the numbers, I mean, I'm not charging anything more than anywhere else would. In fact, it's a lot less because you don't have to buy from a bunch of places. So I know people get hung up on the cost of this 3-bucket setup, but I kind of figured people would want something like that, a solution to exist. All right, let's rinse and then foam the car. Man, I've got so much going on. I didn't realize. I haven't done a wash and talk with you in a while. It has to go that way, Kate. Push it out, not in. Push it out of the garage. Push it this way. Katie Bell's my assistant today, right, Kate? She's getting so big. She's in kindergarten now. Those of you who've been watching me for years, can you believe that? Remember her as a baby crawling around in the garage. I can't believe this car is leaving me in a couple weeks. I'm kind of looking forward to going down to PSI and getting, we need longer springs because I'm too low. I've lowered it more in the front than it was before, and so there's no preload on the suspension. And a lot of higher end shocks have a independent, or they don't have independent height and preload adjustment, just like these do. And so sometimes you have to size the springs based on the height. So that's what the clunking issue is. So I decided not to buy new coilovers. I mean, these coilovers are in that same ballpark as the V3s and the Öhlins that I was looking at. Öhlins. I got the lip set up. Now I feel good about it. I had to do some, I actually made some holes, some larger holes along the edge here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right here along the edge of the bumper. So I drilled some 1/2 inch size holes in that area. And then I guess they're probably 9/16 size holes, a little bigger than 1/2 inch. And I took a rubber washer and a self-tapper and came up into the bumper cover. So now we have a nice solid connection where it's not gonna flip forward like it did before. So that was a problem fixed. I just aimed the headlights, or aimed them upward. So the headlights are now aimed properly. Oh, also notice, I don't know why I never thought of this before, but I started on that side, worked my way around, and then my gun is in the right spot. I usually always started on this side and then worked and then ended up there, and I always had to figure out where to put my gun. I know, the little process tweaks that make perfect sense now that I don't know why it didn't make sense before. I'm gonna show you another little cleaning tweak I've made as well. Bring the ISO down so we don't blow this out. So, you know, there's a lot of buzz always about foam. I want a certain amount of foam. Like this is the perfect amount, I think, maybe even a little bit less. So having more foam from some, soap manufacturers, I find unnecessary. I don't want more foam. Now, it would make sense that, I think Adam's Megafoam makes a lot of sense. The Megafoam product, I haven't used it, but assuming it's the same quality or same content as their regular soap, which is so great, it would help with some of the cheaper pressure washers that if you haven't set up your pressure washer properly, if you haven't gone and used my kits and you got the proper orifice size, or if you're using some knockoff foam cannon, having a soap that foams more easily would make sense. But for me, I just ran a test on this. This setup is doing 2.92 gallons per minute at 975 PSI. So I don't need any more. I don't need any more foaming capability. In fact, sometimes I want a little less. There's a balance here on what amount of foam you want so that it sticks and doesn't just fall off. So let me get this set up. This is like the old school days where I had a camera 40 feet away. I used to do this on every video. Just put a little bit of soap on here. Just gotta clean up my thing. I really don't need a lot of soap. This Meguiar's is hyper concentrated. So yeah, I'm pumped about the new Meguiar stuff I have coming. I guess it's not new, but new to me. I have coming here shortly. I'm really pumped about that. I think you guys are gonna like that. Just building out the whole line, and then, just like I came out with version 2. So I had version 1, version 1.1, version 1.2 of the wheel cleaning package, and I felt there was enough of a change to call it version 2.0. So version 2.0 of the wheel cleaning package, but that's what my goal is going to be long term, is to have full solutions and then continue to modify the solutions, and then you can update it however you see fit, if you're following my process along. So this process always works great. By the time I get to where I want to get to, by the time I get my buckets set up with my pad, the foam is just the right consistency. I don't know. I just like it this way. Although I think about things a lot, I find that I'm not an overthinker. I'm a launch and try. So execute and try and then see how it works and then be willing to adjust, because I'm not married to any one process. But a lot of times I know pretty early on what works. Like somebody made a comment the other day, and I like giving people a hard time on comments. But I was talking about, he was giving me a hard time because I had talked about, when I bought P&S, the wheel cleaner, or no, when I bought Bead Maker, I wasn't interested in changing my wheel cleaning process at the time. I was interested in my wash process. And so I didn't need a wheel cleaner, and so I threw it away. So I don't like to keep stuff laying around. And then I started, looking to change that process. And so at the time, I didn't need a wheel cleaner, so I didn't care. So I punted it in the trash. And then I come back to a wheel cleaner when it makes sense. And so what I said was, I have a keen sense of awareness just doing this product selection, especially now more than ever, because this is what I do for a living. I'm building out this store and building out this business, this brand. I just have a keen sense of what is right and what is not, even without trying it. Now, I still have to try it when it's all said and done, and I'm probably missing out on some things. But in general, I've developed an ability to look at products, because think about, I'll give you an example. So I'm getting into this whole mountain biking thing. I'm more interested in the mountain biking process and not process, but products, than I am the actual mountain biking part. But, I'm looking for a bag to put on my back. And, you can't see and touch them. And so you have to have some sort of ability to discern and figure out, not buying on specs. Buying on specs is a bad way to do things. And I've learned that over the years, that you just buy based on, especially with pressure washers or cars, you don't buy it based on spec. Now, because I'm an old man, I'm buying it based on my gut. So I'm reading the specs, I'm understanding what the product is. I know the application that I'm hoping to accomplish. And then with detailing products, it's probably more prevalent than mountain biking, because I don't have a lot of mountain biking experience, but with detailing I have a ton, especially in product selection and buying and trying and trial and error. I just kind of know what's going to be good and what's not. For instance, one thing that is almost never going to be good or better than what's already available is, I get this every day. I just got one yesterday. Guy says, I couldn't find a product, I didn't like any of the products that I was using, so I went out and made my own. I'm like, oh boy. Or I'm obsessed with making of having the best products. And so, what happens, what it was is he met some local blender, and the local blender said, I can make you whatever you want. And then they do 2 or 3 iterations, and then they end up with a product line of some stuff that may or may not be decent, but I can pretty much guarantee you it's not going to beat CarPro or Geon or Meguiar's that have been at this for a long time, and Joe Blow, who has minimal detailing skill and knowledge, is not going to come out with a better line. It's part of the reason why I will likely not come out with my own line of products, because it would never be good enough. Because the chance of you creating a great product across the board was so so unlikely. It's so difficult. You'll pick any line of products. I'm not using all Meguiar's or all Car Pro or all anything. Because they don't make, no one company makes the best stuff. Or really great stuff across the board, whether it's, you know, interior or exterior or wheels or tires or what have you. Now, it's arguable on, you know, whether one product is better than another, you know, and a lot of it's preference. But I know that some dude who just decided that he didn't like Chemical Guys because that's the only product he's ever used, even then, he's not beating Chemical Guys at Chemical Guys' game. They have a lot more resources than that dude, one dude in his garage is gonna have. He might be able to make one product, but even then, you don't know anything. How are you supposed to beat them? So I do get that once a week, maybe once every other week. Hey man, I want you to try my products. I couldn't find anything that I liked, and so I made my own. Oh, and my normal, trying to be nice, my normal comment is, oh, you're a chemist? Well, no, but I've been working with my chemist, or, you know, it's usually the case. I'm working with my chemist, and I've created products that are better than anything else that exists. Like, sure you have. No thanks. Not interested. Oh, see, I already forgotten when I was part of my new process shift or little adjustment to my process is like the jam areas. I'm just opening up and hitting them. I'll explain why I'm doing it that way now. Probably most of you have been doing that your whole lives, but I just started doing it again. I'll explain why when we get to the drying process here. So yeah, like what does make sense to me is like, you know, Phil from Auto Fanatic chasing like a single product to the nth degree, investing lots of money, lots of time, trying, and probably has gone through several chemists, chasing that dream of making the product that he wants. And even then, it's such a difficult game to play because you're up against having a local blender, local chemist, versus Meguiar's has hired the best chemist in the world. You know, or hopefully you would think that they have, and have a lot more resources than John Smith has. So I may be eating these words someday when I'm trying to create my own product line. The other difference is, why does anybody ever show how they're making it? Show me how you're doing it. Who's doing it? Where are you doing it? And it's because there is very little vetting and testing and knowledge. So those of you who are thinking about sending me something, I'm not taking it, so don't even waste your time. So the process change is this: cleaning the jams first, up underneath the door, so that way I can use the same drying towel through the whole process. This is part of the reason why I had a different, softer door jam towel that now I'm going to eliminate, because now I'm cleaning the jams like that. All right, let's get rinsed. I forgot to do the other side. Let me do that real quick. You guys are gonna freak out. I take my mitt, I throw it on the Swiss tracks. So I just throw my mitt right on the floor in there, let it dry. Can you believe it? I do it. Just take and dump these out here. My little bed here. Yeah, I tell you what, man, I really dig this car. Has Crystal Serum Light and Exo on it. I really dig it. And I also dig this soap. So I'm probably, I don't know when did I go to California last? That's how long I've been using it. Ooh, yeah, my new Mosmatic gun. Coming here really soon. Pre-order should be up this week. I'm also gonna start the M5 tomorrow. I think I'll do the decon tomorrow morning. I wanna make sure I have a camera person. So Bryce and I are gonna shoot that. It's gonna be a lot of parts to the series. Yeah, I'm sad to see this car go actually now. For a while there, I wanted it to get the heck out of here because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And now it's a lot more fun that I've got it set up the way that I like it. Looks the part. Fun to wash. Yeah, that's part of having all these great products and all these great processes. That makes it a lot more fun to do this, to wash the car. At least it does for me. All right, let's hit the rotors with some hides one last time. We'll blow it off. That's the most fun part, is blowing off everything that's coated and corrected. Gosh, this car's great. Doing it my way, doing it this way is what does give me a little bit of pause and not wanting to do a giveaway again. Because I don't know anybody that's gonna do it the way that I'm doing it. So I know it's just a bolt-on car, but still quite a process to get through. Cheating on you a little bit here in that I kind of shared with you what I do with the pull back and forward method, but I really don't do that as often as especially if I'm going to move the car out of this position when I'm done washing. You know, the hides combined with the brake buster really isn't necessary. So I showed that in the video so that people know in the wheel cleaning video, so people know what to do as if they're struggling with rusting. And a bead maker towel, so good. So I was sitting here thinking, when I always get into deep thought when I'm drying the car with the leaf blower. I don't know why. I was just thinking about how many of you guys that watch this stuff want to become detailers, and I was just it always makes me cringe. Like, man, think about every detailer that you know of that's that's notable. They don't want to be detailers. They're doing everything in their power to not be detailing every day. So I don't know. I would just encourage you young guys. Think about Luke Wilson on YouTube. He's 22 and doesn't want to be detailing. He wants to, have a business around it and be involved with it. And so if I were you guys that were considering or are doing it, think about not what's your exit strategy out of detailing, but how do you get to do it to where you enjoy it and not have to do it and be a slave to it every day. It can be a really rewarding career choice. Especially if you're limited on educational background, it's a good way to make a living. I would probably try to figure out dent repair and try to really become well-rounded in all aspects so that you can then lead some sort of team at some point instead of being reliant on your labor, your own time and energy to really make living. You want to I think you'd want to figure out early on, in the beginning you're going to have to do it all yourself. But how do you get to the point, unless you just absolutely love polishing every day, what's your next step? And then what do you have to do to get there? What do you have to do to work toward your next step? Like I'm doing it right now with Obsessed Garage. So, I was doing it, you can just sort of follow the process of, I was doing the shipping and packing of the t-shirts and the editing and everything. And now, I have Bryce that does the editing for me, and I'll still step in and help out packing and shipping and, putting stuff away and things like that whenever either I have to because we have an overflow, or I just feel like, staying close to the process. But, the point of life is to, I think, figure out how to do what you enjoy. And I suspect I haven't met very many people that would enjoy just polishing and doing all of the manual labor steps of detailing forever. That would be brutal. Anyway, I was just thinking about that as I'm out here sweating. If I was detailing, or I aspired to be a detailer, what's the plan? What's my continued evolutionary steps in improving both my process, my brand, my detailing skills? And in the beginning, you might be laser focused on just honing your skills and learning and building better and better processes. But what about when you've gotten to that point? So like me, I'm thinking about, what am I going to do next after I've built out all of the packages that I've been working on for the last 2 years? What then? What's next? So when the store is built out with the stuff that I have, gosh, this process is so good. Wolves and, man. So my towel's getting saturated here, which makes it work even better. Streak-free, bug-free. So good, man. Take my semi-dryer towel and just finish it up, and you just watch it smooth and flatten out. So good. So as I was saying, as I get through all of my packages and build that all out, then what? So for me, it's probably chasing other things like compressed air, chasing, OG specific lighting solutions, chasing and building a design firm that, designs garages, whatever I'm interested in, getting HQ set up, building on a training platform. And so I'm always going to stay invigorated and not get stuck in doing the same thing forever and ever, over and over and over and again into monotony. It's always challenging myself and staying stimulated. And in order to do that, you have to step outside your comfort zone. And like in my case, stepping outside the comfort zone is involving other people and allowing them to screw up a little bit here and there so that I can continue to evolve and move toward whatever it is I'm invigorated by at the time. So don't get stuck doing the doing for infinity, is what I'm getting at. Have a plan, have not an exit strategy. I have no intention of exiting Obsessed Garage. Have a evolutionary strategy. What is your next step? What is the next pursuit? And don't get too, I don't get too excited about it, so don't be impatient, if you will. At least that's the way I'm thinking about, Obsessed Garage for me as my outlet and as my passion pursuit. And it doesn't have to be just passion. You might have a really good gig, a really good job, a really good position, and but don't get stuck, because then that's when you get miserable. Don't get stuck in just doing the same thing all the time. This is where I always fight guys who say, I've been a mechanic for 28 years. Well, that doesn't mean you're a good mechanic. Why are you still a mechanic? You can't be passionate about it that long. Maybe you are, and maybe there's a few that are, but man, I would fight that. I'm gonna fight that for the rest of my life. And I talk about detailing just because I'm so close to it, because I'm selling detailing products and have never been a detailer, and God willing, never will be. It's such a hard job, man. Such a hard existence. You guys are working your face off. And you can, and I'm not saying you can't be passionate about that. Be passionate about that, but continue to evolve. I think about my buddy Billy, who probably watched this at some point, who owns Presidential. I'm hoping, he's doing really well. His company's doing well. He's built a brand. He's built a name for himself. He's brought in Gabe. And he's had some struggles with bringing in people and them not working out. Them not working as hard as him, or maybe they thought they were working harder, or whatever. Partnerships usually don't work. So, we'll see him. He'll either, at some point, he probably won't have to pick up a polisher anymore, because you can only do that for so long. And still enjoy life. And and I know I'm talking about detailing, but this really applies to anything in life. It's the way I think about it. What's the next pursuit? How do I stay invigorated? How do I make a game out of this? But still, I still put tons of pressure on myself. So pressure's not a bad thing. It keeps me motivated. So notice I'm still on my first 2 towels. I'm telling you, G-Technic is definitely going on the M3 when I fix that. It's going on the M5 as well. The reason why I haven't done the M3 is, I have a fresh coat of Power Lock Cullinite, which is amazing, still great. I'll show you, the car looks fantastic. And so even though there's water spots underneath it, I'm kind of letting it sit for now. And then I'll come back and strip it off as it starts to fail in a few, probably 6 months or so. And then we'll do a whole, I want to chase having a line of DeFelsco paint correction devices, really do some due diligence on that, maybe even get them out here to help teach us about them, because there's just not a lot of solid data out there in the world on them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this towel, which is kind of getting saturated, to clean up this trunk area, and then I'll go grab another one. Do the rest of the side of the car over there. It's so great when you have your jams maintained and you just kind of keep maintaining them for forever. So you can see the reasoning behind my process of, now I don't have a need, because I've cleaned these areas out with the, if I needed to, with the sponge or the pad while I'm washing, and then I don't need to, I don't need a separate towel, because I'm not really going to beat up my main drying towels. Now I won't take this towel and go back to the paint, or at least not until I wash it. But I feel comfortable that I can wash this and use it on the paint again next time. So what I've been working on here recently is getting Kyle up to speed so he can help me with some of these more sophisticated garage designs, so that I love doing them, but so he can help me with it. So I can say, hey, here's what I want in this garage. I'm working with this gentleman to design his garage. Here's what I want. And I want a automatic boom pole. I want Cobra Jet hoses. I want a Krenza pressure washer. I want this and that. And so he's able to kind of keep me insulated so that I can do more wash and chats and do the stuff that I really love doing. I love doing the design too, but behind the design is a lot of work that my per hour rate would be better spent, instead of laying out the Swiss Trax flooring, would be approving the Swiss Trax flooring that's been laid out for the design. So it would be the same thing if you're a detailer and you have guys that probably not as good as you. No offense, Kyle, but I mean, he will be as good, if not better than me at some point. That's the goal, is to make your people better than you are, especially if you're not fully engaged, because you're doing a bunch of things. But then you're approving, and then you get to the point to where you don't even have to approve anymore, because they know what you want by proxy. And then hopefully your brand or business gets big enough where then your Kyle becomes the manager of other people, and then he teaches them, those people, parts of the process. But I think the key distinction here, and this is something Rick has told me from the beginning, and I probably shouldn't even tell you this, but the key distinction is that no one but you should be threading the whole process. So don't, and this is the lesson I've learned the hard way in life, no one, and no one needs to thread it. No one is you. And so the worst thing that can happen is that you create some monster that thinks they're you, and then eventually they won't need you, or so they think, and then they cause all kinds of disruption. So instead, have a bunch of people to try to replicate what you're good at. I already cleaned the interior yesterday, or 2 days ago. I'm not even gonna need the fourth towel. Look at it under here. Oh yeah. Clean and nice. So, just my, and I'm not a, hopefully I'm getting kind of preachy here. I'm not speaking in how-tos, I'm speaking in how I. This is what I've learned. This is what I've fumbled through, largely through mistakes. And this isn't how to do it. It's just what I've learned in my life thus far. Remember, I don't do how-to videos. I do how-I videos. This is how I do it. And maybe we can learn from each other by talking through it. I'm not intending to come from a space of I know better. It's just this is what I've learned. And hopefully by talking it out, I can learn a little more. And then we can all figure some things out together. So anybody that tells me I'm too stubborn, you can tell me that all you want. I'm just not. You're gonna have to fix your people reading barometer, because you've read me wrong, bro. I might not learn from you, but I'm learning from somewhere. Look how good that looks. So awesome. Last door jamb, and we'll work on the wheels. And this puppy's clean. Man, this car is so good. once I get the suspension fixed. I thought for sure though, this is the lesson. I should have waited, and I should have done the, well, I probably would have procrastinated on it. I should have done the giveaway like another month later, because then I would have been able to have the car and enjoy it a little bit longer. I was just sitting here thinking, maybe what I should do, I don't know if I can do it legally now, it might be too late, but wouldn't it be cool to add into this giveaway, kind of spice up the deal a little bit, or make the make it even more enticing, is since I have pretty much the entire OG product line, whoever gets the car gets a carload full of the whole Mormon detailing package. I won't have the package done in time though, completely. All right, let's do the wheels. I didn't need this towel, so I used 3 towels in the whole car. So I'm gonna leave this in here, and we'll see how Hyperwash does like a week later, and when I foam the next car. Actually, you know, I might be trying it tomorrow, but we'll see if this one gets broken down by water hardness like Adam's does. That could be the tipping point. If this stuff works, and I can just leave in the foam can and leave my excess soap in the foam cannon, then that might be the final straw of me choosing that. The wheels, so I have 4 wheel cleaning towels, Speed Maker. Hit this with Speed Maker real fast. I've got Pearl. I've got my secondary Pearl brush. Oh, I forgot to tell you this whole process. So I tested the AR630 TSS hot. So the TSS is the total stop feature. So it turns off, has a pressure switch. You'll see a video coming out here shortly. And I've decided to carry it largely because they offer the ability to buy it without any stuff. And they also offer it without the hot feature. And what I'm going to be talking about is that you don't need hot, because you're not getting, unless you have some sort of boiler, you're not getting 180 degrees, and the non-hot version is like $65 less or something like that, and works up to 150 degrees, probably even higher than that if you needed to, you know, in short stints. So I think it's going to come in around, you know, somewhere in the $500 range. So it's going to be the perfect sort of lesser expensive option I've been in search of for so long. Tell me that isn't freaking cool. So I called them, and I'm going to be launching the AR630 TSS here maybe next week. I don't know. I'm packing in a lot of stuff into next week. Poor Bryce and Mike. I'm going to run them ragged. So I moved the use of the Adams foam blocks to the interior. So Adams foam blocks will be sold in 6-packs now, and I'm going to use them and put them on the interior package for using with Alcantara cleaner and leather cleaner and leather cream. It's because I don't use the foam blocks anymore. So yeah, the Krenzle is still superior, no question. But the AR is going to be a nice solution. So the Comet will be like kind of the all-in-one. You can get it real easy. You just mount it to the wall. The AR would need a shelf if you're going to mount it to the wall, and it's very clunky from carrying it around perspective. And the fit and finish of it is nowhere near as nice as the Krenzle, but the performance is just as good. And it's, if we can get it for $500 or $600 or less, game over. That's our mid-tier solution that I've been in search of for so long. Now, I'm still buying a Krenzle. And so most of you still, you're going to aspire to own a Krenzle, but those of you who are never going to go to Krenzle money, never going to get to that level because you just either don't want to, don't feel the need to, or can't, then we'll have this as a very viable, less costly solution. I'm pumped. And I think I'll keep Comet too. Comet's going to have to step up their game, improve their packaging, which I think the next round I'm hoping to have new packaging. Because shipping on that thing's so darn expensive, because we have to send it in 2 boxes, otherwise it breaks. Look at this thing. It's so good. Let's go do the other side. So the key to this whole AR thing is no junk. No junk gun, no junk wand. None of that is necessary. They'd sell it without it. And they're happy to do that. It's amazing. I love it. Maybe I'll be able to use this to convince Krensla to allow me to sell the 1122 to create my own version of it without the gun and wand. And it'd be even better if I could start to sell the 1122 with a hose reel that accepts a 3/8 male, so I could put a Cobra Jet hose on it. Now we're talking. So I'm gonna be flying up there soon. We gotta probably book that trip this week for sometime in September for me to go up there so we can work on the maintenance discussion. And then I'd like to do the same thing with all of the manufacturers. I was torn though on, because I'm not using any of these, I'm using the big one. And so I was a little torn on how do I do this and not become a retailer. And I think maybe it's an eye-opening idea to opening up to provide a solution to, multiple levels. So to have a progression, call it OG progression in all things, pressure washing, detailing, flooring, lighting, cabinets. So to have an OG progressive step to help make me rich. Right? Joke, that's a joke, people. Calm down. No, to help make it a viable, sustainable business. I don't know. I'm just thinking about that right now as we're talking. See, I knew it. I knew the only reason he was doing this was to get rich. Yep, that's why I'm doing it. Because I hate hanging out here in my wash bay, loving life. I hate that. Nobody would want to do that. So, anyway. Kind of wrapping up the chat here. Oh, I need to, I'll show you the, I'm just going to check the tire pressures. Do need to change the oil in the Raptor. Maybe I'll stop and get a filter and crank that out tonight after riding. I suspect after riding I'm going to be laying on the couch and near dead feeling. See, I really like gloss wheels just because of how much cleaner they are than the satin always shows everything, and they never look as good as they did day one, especially satin black. There's something to be said about gloss. That's why I did gloss on these. Remember, these were designed, these are supposed to be on the M3. I really wish I could figure out, there's just a little bit of a pooch here on the fender liner that rubs. It sounds like the world is ending, and it's only when you're backing up. So whoever gets this car is gonna freak out. I'm gonna make sure they know up ahead of time. But it's literally doing nothing. It's just touching when you're turning and going in reverse. Like an aggressive, like full lock turn. So this one stays in the cabinet next to these towels. And that's how I do the wheel and tire process. Anyway, sorry I ran out of time. I didn't realize what time it is, but anyway, thanks for hanging with me on this wash and talk. I'll show you the air compressor next time and the PCL. I've showed a little bit of it, but next video I'll show you that. I've got to do probably do an M3 wash and talk, an M3 versus 1M video coming up, but I gotta get my mountain bike ready. I'm heading out to the trail. I got a new rack for the truck, so I want to run over to the garage and put that on. But anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging with me on this one and listening to all my crazy ideas and supporting me. So anyway, as always, stay tuned for more crazy. We got more coming. See you soon.